And we're on. Hello and welcome to podcast episode 87 of Robeisy Boxing. When the two Daves are back in town yet again to give you your weekly boxing fix. Before we start, I'm going to start doing this every week now. Now we're on YouTube. I said it on last week's episode, ladies and gentlemen. You've got a like button there. You've got a subscribe button there. You've got a share button there. Just give them a click. Just give them a click. Get those algorithms going. So when you type in boxing, you type in the weekend's fights, I'll hashtag everything. And because you're subscribed, because you've liked, because you've shared, we'll be one of the first people to come up. You'll get fantastic content from me and Dave, as always. Different opinions about boxing. You'll have a laugh. And you can join us on a weekly basis. So please, we're a small, on a serious note as well, we're a small independent podcast. We pay to put the stuff on. We don't charge anything. So in return, just give it a click while you're there now. And if you listen on an audio feed, ladies and gentlemen, do the same there as well on your Spotify, your Amazons, and your Apple as well, along with a 5-star review, because that does help the algorithms as well. But even if you don't, we'll be back week in, week out to give you our take on the boxing world. But before we start talking about boxing worlds, let's talk about the drinking world. Davey boy, how are you, brother? We spoke last week. You told me in the masses that it was, I think, week 2 now of you going out on the piss with your work colleagues, not spending any money down in Soho, I believe. Give us all the stories. Who was shagging? Who was being sick? Who was going to the toilet every now and again? Yeah, that was it, brother. I think the masses like hearing your stories more than they do like us talking about boxing, to be honest.
Well, I'd like to go off the back of what you just said there about liking and subscribing and sharing and whatnot. There was a YouTuber recently on I'm a Celebrity, and I want to go and do that. So I need everyone to go and like, share, so we can get really big, and then I can go on and win I'm a Celebrity. I'll eat kangaroo balls. I've got no problems with that. Spiders running along my face, snakes around my neck. I've got no problems with that. So please like, subscribe, and share. Soho, there was definitely no shagging because there was 15 blokes. So that's not that's sort of P Diddy stuff that I don't want to be getting involved in.
Well, it is Soho, and that's sort of I think we used to go on. But by the way, talking to Soho, it's been years since I've been there. Is it still, joking aside, is it still strip clubs and things like that? I only saw bistros and art galleries and that nonsense.
Well, I don't know. I never saw no seedy bit. No, there's like a Chinatown there, and it's mobbed. It's absolutely mobbed, full of people, tourists. I've never seen anything like it. We went to a place called Bodine's Barbecue, which is like a little restaurant thing where they do like you have a meal. So you'd have like pulled pork and all that sort of shit, and just endless amounts of beers and shots. So we did that. Got steaming, mate. And there was no scandal. It was a very good night. Very good night. Come home. I was, to be fair, because I'd eaten, I wasn't too bad with the old beers. I wasn't steaming because I think that's where I go wrong, where we all go wrong. We go on a 12-hour bender and don't eat. And I think that's why we're absolutely mangled. But I had a meal in between, so I think it helped me. So, no scandal. And then I went out again. That was Friday night. I went out again Saturday with some friends that we'd met on holiday. It was their son's birthday, so we got invited. We went to Stratford, Westfields. Oh, my fucking God. I've gone, I think I don't like shopping. Oh, my. I went through that shopping centre. I wanted to kill every man. It was the worst. It was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It was busier than Soho, and that's saying something. So we went to... Big Easy.
Hang on. Did you see many queue jumpers in Stratford? Because that's Robeisy Boxing's pet hate, remember? Fucking queue jumpers.
Well, funnily enough, I wasn't in any queues because I was just barging through. I was trying to find the fucking restaurant that they were having the party in, and that was bad enough. We went to Big Easy and ended up eating the same sort of food I'd had in Soho the night before. But again, it was like a 2-hour brunch. You get there, 35 quid, 35 quid. You get a meal, and you just get endless beers coming out. So that weren't too bad. For 2 hours, so we did that and then fucked about. So I've been on the piss all weekend. Very good. That's funny enough. I had today off work because I had 1 day of annual leave to take before Christmas, which ends for me next Friday, not this Friday, next Friday. So I thought I hate Mondays. I'll take Monday off. So I've been off today. I've been doing a few bits in the house. Fucking put a telly on the wall.
Fell off.
Switched it on and it's broke. It's got a big crack through it must be inside because it ain't cracked on the outside.
It's not Alfie punching things. It's not that 13-year-old knocking tellies out now, is it? Or
Well, the thing is, I took this TV from my one. I got a new one downstairs, so I thought I'll take the old TV. It's in good shape, and I'll put it upstairs. Anyway, I left it on the floor in my bedroom for about 6 weeks, to be honest, before I hung it, as men do. And I've finally got round to doing it today. It's got a big fucking crack on the inside. I've got to get a new TV now. I'm fucking gutted. So, yeah, that's my weekend, mate. What did you get up to?
You missed out the football. Don't forget the Arsenal women, mate.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Oh, my God. Fucking hell. Yeah, I went to that Sunday. I forgot about that. Honestly, mate, it was. I've never been that cold since I played Sunday League football. Do you know what? The Emirates is covered, yet the rain was like blowing in from an angle. Me and Lola were fucking soaked, and she didn't want to leave. I could have quite easily, but it was 4-0. It was a good win.
Fan.
Yeah, but honestly, I was sitting there shivering. She got a flag made, Beth Mead flag. Me and her had that on our laps to try and keep us warm. It was good. Lucky it was a good game because I got home, and you know when you're frozen to the bone. Yeah, that was what I was. You know, like to the core. So yeah, it's been some weekend, mate, and I was doing chores today.
Yeah, mate, you've been very, very busy. Oh yeah, she's got you doing the chores.
I've got my official Christmas party this Friday. So there'll be more. That's where you'll probably get more stories out of that.
Yeah, but, I was hoping for some stories. Bit disappointing there, Dave.
There'll be some out of this one. Because the one I went on here was like taken out by like the people that we give work to. So I didn't know everyone there. So it was only a handful of people that I was chatting to. So I was just taking the free drinks because they were free.
Why not? My lad's football was cancelled because of that bastard storm, Dara. Looks like he's gone away now, still freezing that. So I've just come back from doing another podcast, Stourbridge Women podcast, which will be uploaded pretty soon. And most people won't be interested in that, but hey ho, I've just been doing it. And I didn't stick to my my diet, if you like, Dave, of not having a bottle of wine or a couple of cans of Lek on Sunday because there was no boys football. I slept from about my mum and dad had the kids. They kept an eye on the kids, so I slept from 9 o'clock till 3. I was absolutely knackered. Got up, had me dinner, and I went straight on the wine. Couple of cans of Lek. The missus was out all night. I don't even remember her coming home, mate. So I was dead to the world, just catching up on sleep, which is so rare for me to do. But 9 times out of 10 on this podcast, you've got the interesting weekend, and I've got the fucking boring one. But I'm out this weekend. I've got my daughter's party. Football party, obviously it's full of 12-year-old girls, so there shouldn't be any stories to tell, really. And then there
better not be no shagging stories or anyone going to the toilet.
Fucking better not be, no, not involving 12-year-old girl. The adults, well, maybe. Well,
you never know.
But let's crack into the boxing. Then we've said our bits and bats on our weekends, and will be more time for that next week as well. So we're going to do two episodes again this week, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do our review show today with our usual segments, and then we're going to jump on Thursday and give our preview for the week's boxing ahead. So let's jump into Saturday night's action, ladies and gentlemen. Oscar Valdez versus Emanuel Navarrete, should I say, versus Oscar Valdez, part 2, over in Phoenix, Arizona, USA. We spoke about this last week. We previewed and reviewed the first one. It's a bit of a Mexican war. Navarrete getting the job done first time round. Rolled it back again on Saturday night. Expecting the same sort of thing. I've written there for audio listeners, guys, Navarrete demolition job. And that's exactly what it was, Dave. Round 1, Oscar Valdez gets knocked down. And Emanuel Navarrete, for the 6 rounds that it lasted, just done exactly what I put on the screen there. It was a demolition job. There was uppercuts thrown everywhere. There was barrages of hooks, overhand rights, straight jabs. The guy is fit as fuck. He's got a massive engine, but he went out. Don't get me wrong, 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, the intent with Navarrete is to go and start your opponent, knock him out, and move on to the next guy. But he done it with some force on Sunday. And I don't think, again, we spoke about Galal Yafai not getting the credit he deserved. Don't get me wrong, people are waxing lyrical about Navarrete, but it's been more about Oscar Valdez, how old he is, about his training, his methods, and what's left for him. It's more about him going away and retiring or rebuilding rather than Navarrete, mate. Let's get into it. Navarrete was fucking brilliant on Saturday night. He smashed him up, he beat him up. There was no answer from Oscar Valdez. It was traffic all the way from Navarrete.
Yeah, it was, mate. And we spoke about him moving up and weight. He wasn't impressed. We questioned why. And the question, the move going back down, well, he's answered all them questions. He is at his weight. This is his weight. This is his divisional weight for me. And he went out there and absolutely, like you said, there, demolition job. Went there, steamrolled him on the front foot, throwing all types of combinations. I think it's hard to say Valdez didn't know what to expect because he'd already been in with him once. I don't think he has the engine or any more to nullify it. He couldn't keep him off, and it was straight out the gates with Navarrete. And it was almost like the Navarrete of old, the one we've waxed lyrical about. He's had a couple of poor performances. Anyone jumping on our podcast would be thinking, what are these boys been watching prior? You know what I mean? But he's lived up to his name now. Massive statement win. Do I think Navarrete was slowing down? We did say that in last week's episode. We feel like even at the back end of the fight, we'd expect him to tie. He starts fights very, very quickly. I don't think Navarrete didn't have any of that. He weren't letting him get into any type of rhythm. Weren't letting him get his shots off. Was just straight on the front foot, pushing him back. Heavy artillery, and breaking him down, breaking his wheel, breaking his heart, and just putting him under pressure from bell one. It's exactly what we said, that Valdez likes to start fast. There was none of that, and the ending was amazing. What a shot to end the fight. I absolutely love that. But for me, that's a statement win there. Whatever you think of Valdez, and where he's had a long career, been in some hard fights, he's never been stopped.
Never been stopped.
And so for me, this is a massive statement win here. Anyone else gets this type of win, people were jumping off the rooftops, screaming about the nature of the win here. And I want that for Navarrete. It's a great win. He's gone in there. He's absolutely bulldozed him, mate. It was a one-way traffic from the first bell, and it really impressive. Again, we spoke about how great we thought he was. We started to see decline. He moved up a weight, tried it, thought nope, he didn't like that at all. Let me go back down. He's gone back down, and he's proved it to be a great move for me. To be a great move, and he's not that he was ever out the mix or anything like that, but there was questions as to whether is he in decline per se. He's moved up in weight. Can he make the weight that he was at prior to moving up? But for me, he's on. If there was any questions to ask, I feel like he's answered them. And for me, he was in people's pound for pound list only a little while ago.
It's definitely in mine, yeah.
Yeah, and on a performance like that, I can see why, mate. I really can see why.
I don't know if I suppose you could question decline. I'm not too sure about decline. I think now when you look back at that Berencic fight, you've got to probably give Berencic credit for nullifying a lot of Navarrete's work.
I'm not saying decline, but you're more like you get a couple of bad performances. This is what people will start to say.
Yeah. You're right. Don't get me wrong. People are singing off the rooftops about Navarrete, but a lot of it is more they're pointing the finger at Valdez. How old is he now? And has he got it and things like that, which is wrong. You should celebrate Navarrete for what he done. As you just said, Dave, he's the first guy to ever stop Valdez. Valdez has lost, but he's never been stopped, and he's never been beaten up like that.
No.
In his career. And I kind of felt sorry for him because he tried to get up. It was a fantastic liver shot. So it's shots we love on this podcast, body shots with that 1 second delay, absolutely beautiful to watch, and it's absolutely brutal. But he tried to get up, he just couldn't. And then the referee was kind of rubbing his head as to say, you can't do it anymore, mate. And it was just quite a poignant moment because you see the look on his face. He was absolutely gutted, upset because Oscar Valdez tried. He's a true Mexican warrior. Just doesn't have the same kind of spite and pop in his hands, and he just doesn't have what Navarrete has. But he's got something about him, and fair play for him for trying. But really, really impressed.
Well, but like I say, we're Mexicans as well. Mexicans are known for wars. They don't. Mexicans want to go whether they lose or not. They want to go to 12 rounds swinging. And so it's difficult for anyone to lose by stoppage, but Mexicans, they pride themselves on winning wars. So getting stopped is not something that they want on their record, But no, listen, he's been a fantastic fighter. But
people calling for his retirement. I'm saying he's still 33. He's still got time to go away and rebuild. I don't want him to retire. Yes, he's not. Maybe doesn't belong at the top table anymore, Dave. But he's still a hard night's work for everyone. I don't even want to call him a gatekeeper because he can win a version of a world title still. But there's still a lot more he can give. But he just doesn't have an old phrase you sometimes use, a bit like je ne sais quoi, to mix it with the champions in 2024 going forward, you know?
Yeah, that's exactly it. No, we don't call for retirement on here. Listen, he's good. He's good enough to mix it at world level still. It's just he's up against Navarrete that was very good on Saturday night. Even in his prime, that takes some beating. It's it's the relentlessness, it's the pressure, it's the fucking, like you say, throwing constantly.
Yeah.
The variety, it was just too much. But he's still a very good fighter who can fight at a very good level. It's just whether he wants to anymore. That'd be the question. Where is the desire? If he feels like he can't, mix it with the elite, does he still want to do it? And that's something him and his team will have to answer. But for value, for fans to watch him in fights, he will still bring it, and it will still be an exciting fight should he want to, mate. No, there's no call for that. There's no shame in losing to Navarrete from Saturday night because it was a great performance.
The casual fan would love watching Navarrete. They need to promote him a little bit more overseas, I think, because he's exactly what it says on the tin. He goes in swinging and he gets knockouts. Yeah. He's got a lot of viral moments in his career, and good luck to him. So obviously we move on now with Navarrete. I think you nailed it. That is his division, super featherweight. Is there a chance to go up to lightweight? Of course there is. He's still young enough to do it. But O'Shaki Foster, top-ranked fighter in the crowd as well, looking at unifications. But that's not the fight I want to see next, Dave. That's not the fight I want to see next. There's a guy in the next fight we're going to talk about that, to me, is too big for featherweight. He's huge, and there's been rumours that this was going to be his last fight at 126, and he's going to move up to 130. That's obviously, I'm talking about Rafael Espinoza. Now, Espinoza versus Ramirez. So, fight of the year contender. We've done all this. We spoke about this last week. Fantastic fight. We were hoping to get something exactly the same. Going to round 13, and we get another fight that contends with knockouts and controversy and everything else that goes around with it. Now, did it deliver? It was kind of delivering until we got. I just quickly before you come in, me and Dave both predicted Espinoza to get the job done. As anybody that's seen it or hasn't, he did get the job done, but not in the way we expected. So going into the 6th round, Dave, let's jump into what happened. Because in the 6th round, I thought it was quite close. I did have Robsy up 3 rounds to 2.
Yes.
And we seem to get an elbow in the 5th, and it all goes haywire. It's not something I've come across a lot lately. Ever, the way it was stopped. However, I have written on the screen, did Robsy quit?
Yeah.
Did you quit, Dave? What the fuck? What happened? Elaborate a bit more to the masses. I think everyone was stunned watching at home and in the arena, you know?
Well, listen, watching it for the first time I watched it, I would have, to that question, I would have said yes. It looked that way. It looked like a no mass. It looked like a Duran versus Sugar Ray Leonard. Like, the way he put his hand up in the air was like no more, no mass. That's what it looked like. But I've looked at bits and different angles coming into this podcast, and what we've come to learn now is that his orbital bone was broken. So when he took that straight left in round 6, it hit him straight in the eye, and he went, "Fuck this." The pain. Now, I don't ever want to call someone that's had that injury a quitter, because we've had this on here with a few, like Kell Brooks had it, Daniel Dubois had it. Kell Brooks had it twice, the 2 fights on the spin. Again, I've never felt that before. I mean, I've had my nose busted.
But he was blaming the elbow. Did you see a blatant elbow in the 5th?
Well, no, he can blame the elbow all he wants, and that's fine. It can happen. Do I think it was deliberate? No. I think it was a follow through from a natural punch. It's unfortunate, but what I have seen from round 5, it does look like it to be the case. And I'll tell you what you can see when it actually happens in round 5, that he actually goes, like, said something to the ref. And straight as it happens, you can see if there's a reaction to it. So going into round 6, when that happens, now before that, like I say, I didn't know that happened. It's only going back, like a bit like VAR.
No one did. Even the commentators were quite confused. They didn't really understand what was happening, because he turns his back and that's it.
Yeah, he takes a punch to that eye at that point. Yeah. But the pain must have been excruciating. Now we know that the pain that we've been told about orbital bones and whatnot. So we'd have to take people's words for it. But I can't imagine it's a nice feeling, because obviously that's what holds your eyeball in place. So yes, to your question, now that I know the circumstances, do I think he quit? No. But going on to the fight, I thought he started the fight fantastic. The tactics. I feel like the movement from him was clear. We knew that he could do that as well, but I gave the first 3 rounds to him, really. Espinoza was coming into it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
Espinoza was coming into it up to that point. I'm gutted we didn't get to see what how that was going to unfold, and the way that it ended was a little bit gutting because, like I say, Ramirez started the fight great. I love the movement from it. Espinoza's got long levers. He nullified them.
He doesn't use them to his advantage, though, does he? He doesn't use the fundamentals to his advantage. He's Ramirez. Sorry to interrupt, mate. He's tall. He's rangy. He doesn't use the jab at all. He's just got the Mexican blood. He's got the Mexican mentality. He's come forward, cut the ring off, and throw.
Yeah.
He doesn't use the jab. He doesn't use his advantages that he has. That's why it's so easy to hit. He was having a lot of success, as you say, Ramirez, with the uppercut. He was picking him off, but Espinoza, keeps walking forward.
He does.
Keeps cutting the ring off. And Ramirez was that's why the question was as well about quitting. Did he get in there and think, I can't be doing this again for 36 minutes? This guy, I can't keep him off me. I can't. He's like a fucking robot. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I liked his movement, Ramirez's first 3 rounds. I thought it was great. He was hit and move. Plenty of movement, plenty of lateral movement, footwork, beautiful. And when that first started, I thought it's very hard to keep that pace for 12 rounds. If he can, then he wins that fight comfortable. But obviously the fights don't work that way. There would have been, there was to and fro. But yeah, you're right in what you're saying. Espinoza does pour forward, and because he's got such long levers, he can throw him at fucking all sorts of angles and catch his opponent. So it was for me. It was stewing into a really, really good contest up to that point, and I am a little bit gutted. I would like to see number 3. I would see number 3, just based on how I've looked it back now. I'm convinced that what happened. For me, there's no scandal to say he's lying for any reason or he just quit. I think that the injury did happen the way he said it did, and if they called for this fight as a trilogy, I would watch it. I don't know about yourself.
Of course. But just talking about Navarrete there, and with the rumours going around, he's struggling. Well, he hasn't actually said he's struggling to make weight, but I've seen bits and pieces on social media, and the commentators are also saying it as well, that it could possibly be his last fight at 126. You look at the size of him, Dave, he's fucking huge.
Yeah.
He's massive. I don't know how he makes weight.
I know.
Weight class, and Hamza Shiraz in his weight class. It's only a matter of time before these guys move up. And I think, obviously, being the WBO champion, and go straight into the rankings in the WBO in the weight division above, which is obviously Navarrete's weight division. And we're talking Mexican wars. I mean, deal me in. Navarrete, Espinoza. No one takes a step back. No, it doesn't go 12, but it doesn't go 6. Don't go halfway. That is that's sex. That's better than sex. Deal me in.
The styles clash beautifully. Like they'll mix beautifully the styles of these two. Of what you said there.
There ain't no styles there. There's no styles. They're just throwing leather at each other. It's for Mexicana, baby.
It'll be a great fight. Espinoza versus Navarrete all over. And then you've got Shaki Foster. Would be a slightly different fight. So Shaki Foster trying to catch him on the way in, but then Shaki Foster likes to get involved as well. So there's a good couple of fights could be made there. Good 2 or 3 fights, a couple of rematches in there. There's a good little round robin between that lot there. Any one of them gets made, mate. I'm all over that. But Navarrete versus Espinoza, early next year, 2025. That'd be massive. That'd be a fucking massive fight, mate. I'd be all over that. That'd be great.
Definitely. I'd like to see Shaki Foster and Navarrete kind of unify in their division. But if Espinoza can't make weight, then he has to jump up. And do I agree with him going straight into a world title shot? Of course I don't. There's other guys in that division that are paying sanctioning fees that are waiting for their shot. But that's the way the WBO works, and I wouldn't say no to it. It's one I'd really like to see. So it'd be interesting what happens in 2025. They're all top-ranked fighters as well, so Uncle Bob can navigate those guys in whatever way he wants, really. So yeah.
When we do our yearly preview, we'll talk about the fights we want next year. That's got to be in one of.
Oh yeah, it'll be on the list. It makes the list, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%, it makes the list, mate.
Just quickly, also on this card, we spoke last week about Richard Torres Jr.
Yeah,
Dave, a 3rd round stoppage against his Mexican opponent. Funny looking bloke, looked a bit like one of those cartoon characters. I don't really watch Disney films. There's a Disney film character that apparently he's to spit an image of. I won't get too much into that because I don't know who he is. But he's 12-0 now, mate. 11 KOs. We said last week What do we do with him? We know this is going to happen. He's fighting tin cans, he's fighting bums. No disrespect, but he's probably in the shallow pool that America have of heavyweights. He's probably the next best after Jared Anderson. So do we just keep giving him rubbish until he's 20-0? Or is it now, 2025, a Charles Martin or a Dominic Brazil to see where he is? It has to be, because don't get me wrong, he's got quick feet, he's got quick hands, he is so exciting to watch. And luckily for us in the UK, most people are in bed, so we actually watch the highlights the next day. But if you're watching him live on TV and you know who he's against, he's a go and turn your kettle on moment. I'll pop my head down and knocks him out. Because he's fighting. There doesn't seem to be much jeopardy with the guys he's fighting at the moment. What do we do with him? For me, I'll give him a Charles Martin. That's the 100% fight I'd make to see where he's at his career.
You know what? You know, with his fights, say his 11 fights, if someone put one of them on, right, or Saturday night's one on, I wouldn't know. It would make no difference to me who it was in all the other 11, because all of them just seem to be the same. Do you see what I'm trying to get at? There's nothing standout-ish in any of the performances. Yes, he knocked him out, and that's fine. He's supposed to, but we need to see more now, because you're right there. I watched it. I did watch it, and it was just like watching any other one of his fights. He's just wide hooks coming from all angles. Bang! He can bang all right. He doesn't look like an Olympian to me by the way he throws punches. It doesn't look like.
No, he doesn't. He's transited. He's gone into the pro ranks pretty well, isn't he?
Yeah.
The
amateur style is now completely gone. It's null and void. But he's exciting anyway. Like for what it is. But he needs to step up. And if Charles Martin is it, then fine. Dominic Brazil, listen, they both could be knocked out. So he can get the knockout that he desires against a credible name. Because I'm with you. I can't keep watching the same thing. I can picture his fights now in my mind already, what he's going to do and how he's going to win. Yeah. He's going to have someone in the corner and he's just letting leather fly, wide hooks back. That's how he ends all of his fights. I want to see what happens when he's pushed back. I want to see something a bit more, because we know offensively he can bang. But
he's exciting.
Yeah, but he's exciting to a level. Let's see him do it against someone we know.
Yeah, I think he's done his, even though it's 12-0 now, I think he's done his apprenticeship. He needs to be tested. So I look forward to seeing what Richard Torres Jr.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, does in 2025. And also Giovanni Santillan, he got back to winning ways, mate, when after he got beat by Brian Norman Jr.
Yeah.
Last year, he took on Frederick Lawson. Lawson pulled himself out of the fight, which is quite sad to see, because even after one round, Santillan's a nasty little bastard, isn't he?
He is, yeah. He's
a nasty little bastard. He is. He's in a great fight with Norman Jr. Come off worse, but he's just gone back. He's probably a confidence builder for him after being knocked out, and he's just absolutely destroyed Lawson. Yeah. Absolutely destroyed him. How many punches he took to the head for him to go to the ref and say, "I don't want to be here anymore." Bit like Sonny Edwards, I want out. He took some punishment in that back end of that first round.
Yeah.
And he's, again, Santillan, if he can work his way up with top rank to get himself a number one contendership, he's another guy people aren't really going to want to put their hands up. Even though he's been beat, he's a tough motherfucker, Dave Santillan. I like
he had him pinned in every single corner of the ring, and he was just letting leather fly. That was another demolition job as well. That was like, I want, you don't get paid overtime. I'm going to come in. I'm going to wipe you out. And Lawson, like I say, Lawson's come off 3 defeats now against 3 credible names, but he was absolutely picked apart here, destroyed.
Letting leather fly, yeah, mate. Exactly what he did. So that was the card over in Arizona. We'll jump over now to San Juan in Puerto Rico from Richardson Hitchins, or Liam Paro first, because he was the champion against Richardson Hitchins. Apparently they had the fight in Puerto Rico, Dave, because I found this out when Eddie Hearn was co-promoting Super Mateus. Part of the deal was he had to have X amount of shows in Puerto Rico. They didn't expect Liam Paro to beat Mateus, so they was expecting him to be the home fighter on every show, and that's why they've got to fulfill their contract and do it over there. Decent crowd, nice noise as always from the Puerto Ricans, but this was about an Australian and American doing it in San Juan for the belt. Liam Paro was the slight favourite going into this. We said last week 2 completely different styles. There was a bit of aggro going into the fight, Dave. I watched this at work. Not so much them arguing with each other, but with the gloves. So Liam Paro wanted to use fly gloves. Richardson Hitchins was dead against it, but apparently they're illegal to use for the commission that sanctioned the fight. They're a bit near the knuckle, the fly gloves, and Richardson Hitchison wasn't having it. Anyway, it went ahead. The fight happens. And I said many times on this podcast last week, if Richardson Hitchins is switched on for 36 minutes, as I expect him to in a world title fight, Liam Paro has to cut the ring off. He has to. No other way he can do it. Has to cut the ring off. Old man in, put the pressure on, land the shots we know he can do, and make it horrible for Richardson Hitchins. He tried it in the first couple of rounds. I think I had Paro 3-1 up, 4-0 up. Richardson Hitchins got a bollocking from his corner when he was about 4-0 down. He listened to his corner, and what did Hitchins do? He went to his boxing, and from round 5 to round 12, he cruised to become the new IBF champion of the world. I don't know how you saw it, mate, but I thought Richardson Hitchins done exactly what I expected him to do. Had a bit of a warning, got back into his boxing, and I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. We've spoken about corner work and the impact they can have. I think going into round 5, I think that, whatever they said to him was magical. And this is what I said about.
Sorry, mate, to interrupt. They said to him, "You're 4-0 down. You're going to have to start doing something now, brother. You're 4-0 down. This is the world title fight. Don't engage. Go back to your boxing. Use what you're good at. Use the jab and the straight right. Use the jab and the straight right, and then catch him on the way in. And it's sort of the penny dropped. Well, we've done this at training. Yeah, we've done this in sparring. We've watched videos of Liam Paro. Let's implicate it, and that's exactly what he's done. Yeah,
he did, and he couldn't miss with the right hand from round 5 on. You got it right leading up to it. You said that, and I agree that we knew that Hitchison was the most skilled fighter out of the two. If, like you said, if he switched on, he could make it easy. I think he got drawn into Paro's fight early on, and Paro was having plenty of success. And pretty much, I picked Paro to win. And I thought I'm onto a winner here in the start of the fight, I have to admit. But you know what makes Richard Hitchins good is that he adapted in the fight. He went to plan B and he had success. Like sometimes people get stuck in the mud and keep doing the same thing even though they're losing. He switched it up. He listened to his corner. Like I said there, corner work can be a massive difference. And we said this with Sonny Edwards last week when they were going to, people were saying should have pulled him out. When he said, no, you can give people's words of encouragement and they can go up there and make a difference. Now, it didn't happen for Sonny, but it happened for Richardson Hitchins. And he come out and he implemented what he was told. Then that's when there's sometimes the corner work can be beautiful. They could take a lot of credit from that because he did, and you could see a massive difference. And the tide turned, and then it was Paro chasing shadows and trying to force the pace. And in trying to force it, he's getting caught on the way in. And like I say, he was getting frustrated then. And then the cutting of the ring doesn't happen anymore. It's following him around the ring. And there's a massive difference between the two. And then he couldn't land a glove on him then after that. And then confidence is built up in Hitchins, and now he's gone on to be world champion. But what I liked about Hitchins is that he changed mid-fight. It doesn't work, we try something else. So we don't know, he could have had another game. I like that. You know what I mean? And that's what you need to be a champion. You can't just be just one-dimensional. He's shown we knew he was a great boxer. We knew that. We knew he could box on the back foot. We talk about the black Americans being their shot selection's great, like their footwork's unbelievable. But he's shown something else to his game now. He really, really has. This doesn't work, but we do this. And it's worked in a world title fight, in his first world title. So fair play to him and his team, because they got to take a lot of credit there because they spotted it wasn't working. They've told him it might have not what we wanted to hear, but you need to be told the truth. You're losing. And go out there and make it do this, and change the fight. And he changed the fight, and that's a sign of a true champion for me, mate.
Was you disappointed in Paro? I even though I backed Hitchins to win, I kind of was. It's a kind of, even though, as you said, the game plan changed. He reverted to the Richardson Hitchins of old, going on the back foot. Because the first 4 rounds, Dave, he wasn't really on the back foot that much. I thought he wanted to trade. He was getting in range, and he was getting caught with shots by Paro. After Hitchison changed his game, I was quite disappointed that Paro had a 12-week camp, said what he was going to do. He didn't want him to run, but obviously he knows he's going to run if they want to call it running. But he didn't kind of try and capitalise. He didn't I expected him to be all over him like a rash, make it uncomfortable. Exactly what Lemos did. Lemos made a better blueprint on how to beat Hitchins, even though Hitchins was drawn into it. I thought Liam Paro was probably a little bit better than Lemos, but I was a little bit disappointed. I'm not taking him away from Hitchins because I'm a huge fan, and he won that fight. He coasted from 5-12. But I expected a little bit more from Paro. I've got to admit, Dave, when the fight was in the stretch, Richardson Hitchins it looked like he could go up another gear, you know.
Do you know what? So what I just said there about Richardson Hitchins having a game plan, it doesn't work, changing it up. Paro was complete opposite. Yeah. You know, I said he's a champion. When things changed for him, he didn't adapt. He just tried to do the same thing. So it worked in the first half of the fight. So it's not working now. What do? Oh, I carry on doing the same thing. So like I said there, for Hitchison being a sign of a champion, it was a complete opposite of Paro. Paro only had one way of trying to win, which, you know, can be effective. Don't get me wrong. I thought he might try and old man him, use the dark arts and frustrate him that way and win that way. But Hitchison was too shrewd for that. But so that was a difference for me. When Hitchison changed up, Paro didn't change up to nullify it. Paro just thought he could go the same way, and it wasn't working from rounds 5 on. So that was the difference in the championship rounds. In difference in the quality of fighters for me. Hitchison showed different facets to his game, and Paro, I don't want to say one-dimensional, but it was really, because it was working first half. Their corner didn't then come out and go, right, it was working now, but now do this. We worked on it. There was none of that. It was like, he probably thought, I'm going to get to him. That's probably what it was. I'm going to get to him eventually. But then the time runs out, and Hitchins coasted it in the second half of the fight, championship rounds.
Yeah, championship rounds, yeah. I think Richard Hitchins has put a spanner in the works. Eddie I wouldn't say he wasn't happy, because he's obviously a matchroom fighter.
Yeah.
But I think he was relying on Paro to win, and then you get that all-Australian clash with George Kambosos Jr., which isn't going to happen now from what happened. But I was a bit, again, we go down the Jack Cattrall route just quickly, because Richardson Hitchins obviously wants the best fights now. He's calling out Teofimo Lopez, and why not? They're both from Brooklyn, New York. It makes sense. They're both champions, unified division, fair play. But Eddie Hearn, after the Prograis fight, and I've been going back and forth on Twitter about this, and Sam Jones after the Prograis fight, and Jack himself saying he deserves a title fight next. He has to be a title fight next. Nothing else is good enough. Eddie didn't mention him once.
Yeah.
Didn't mention him once about going for Richardson Hitchins title or any other champions in the super lightweight division.
Yeah.
It's very telling that they've got no intention of putting him in a world title fight yet again. But this isn't about Jack Cattrall. This is about Richardson Hitchins. Fair play.
Can we just talk about one judge, or we're not going to do that tonight?
Yes, we can. So you're referring to Nelson Vasquez that had the scoring 117 to 111, Liam Paro, which says Richardson Hitchins won 3 rounds. We've done well so far. I'm not moaning about judges, but that's got to be called out, Dave. That's disgusting. That could have cost Hitchins if it went to a split or a majority decision. I know that's. I had it 116, 112. I had 8 rounds to 4. I was kidding. After the 4th round, I gave Hitchins everything. What is he watching? This is IBF. So what are they looking for? If they're looking for front-footed pressure, you're going to give it to Paro. But the other 2 judges have given it the right way in Hitchins' boxing skills.
Yeah.
Very odd, very concerning. Bank balances need checking, Dave.
Yeah, it's a strange one, and I hate that when they start to read the scores out. You think, here we fucking go again. It's going to be another rant on the Rope and Oak podcast, and I'm sure plenty of others. But 117 to 111 is ridiculous. It's a disgrace, and I don't know. I just think we're going to talk about this forever. It's just ingrained in boxing now, where we're just going to have a talk about and it's almost like, oh, thank God they picked the right man. I mean, that shouldn't be the way. If you win a fight, you've won the fight.
Yeah.
But you almost go, oh well, there was one dodgy score, but thank God it was to the right winner. You know what I mean? What the fuck is that?
Yeah, it has to be called out for what it is. Shit show. Absolute shit show. That needs investigating. Even Eddie said it's a bit bizarre, so it needs to be looked at. Or he needs to come out and say why he scored it that way. And they're both his fighters, so he understood that was completely wrong. But yeah, the right man did win, and it'd be interesting what 2025 brings for Mr. Hitchins as well. Let's jump over to the UK then. Over to Wembley for Frank's Magnificent 7 card. There was a lot to take out of that card. Really good card. Really enjoyed it. But the main event was Brad Pauls versus Denzel Bentley for the British and European middleweight title belts. We always, when we cover British fights on this podcast, 9 times out of 10, they always seem to deliver. And this one, again, delivered absolutely brilliant, exciting, competitive, great boxing skills, a knockdown. Denzel Bentley and Brad Pauls, take your hat off, lads. That was a fantastic advert for British boxing, for European boxing, for world boxing, and just boxing in general. I thoroughly enjoyed it, Dave. I was very impressed with both men. But Denzel Bentley, for me, he boxed like I've never seen him box before. Defensively, I've never seen Denzel that good. Brad Paul had his moments. He won his rounds. I love the way Brad Paul throws that right. It's like he's in a cricket match, like he's bowling a ball. It's a lethal right hand. If that connects, Denzel Bentley's going to fucking sleep.
Yeah.
He got knocked down. He had his eye hurt. He got up. He carried on. Bentley smelt blood, tried to get rid of him. Couldn't. It was just a brilliant British fight. And I'm glad Uncle Frank made this fight and made it main event, made it for a British title. And it's one of the fights, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't seen it, if you're subscribers to us here on YouTube and a massive boxing fan, you have. But go and watch it again, because I think I'm going to. I really enjoyed it, Dave. I bet you're feeling the same way, brother.
Absolutely, mate. I absolutely love this fight, and you know we speak about it a lot about British title fights. Oh yes, it was European now, but let's talk British, because that's what British title fights are the best. I don't care. You know, you get Mexican Wars, yes, but all right, I'll put Mexican Wars as number 1, but I'm putting British title fights as number 2 as of all-time classics. And this was a brilliant fight, and I wrote that in my notes as well. Underrated is Denzel Bentley's defense. Brad Pauls threw a lot of shots, but a lot of them were on the gloves. And how like Denzel Bentley's too sharp. Denzel Bentley, that was the difference. It was the eye-catching shots. He was so clinical in what he was throwing. Denzel Bentley, that was a difference for me. Yes, Brad Pauls was in the fight, and he really was. And he didn't stop throwing either. But defensively, it was amazing for Denzel. And then for me, it wasn't spoken about enough. Because every time Pauls is throwing shots, the crowd's going there, and it looks like they're landing shots, but they weren't.
They're dangerous, aren't they, Dave? They're fucking dangerous. He throws them from a distance. He throws them from that fucking the other side of the ring. I'm exaggerating, but they're so far out. If that lands, cool.
I know, but like I say, for me, the massive. I mean, there was 2 differences in it: Denzel Bentley's defense and Denzel Bentley's offense. Because his work was superb. Some of the shots that he was throwing was amazing and was landing. And don't get me wrong, Pauls was in the fight. He really, really was. But again, he couldn't penetrate Denzel Bentley's defense. No. It was a great fight. It really was a great fight. Fair play. That for me, you're right. What you said there. For me, that was the best performance of Denzel Bentley that I've seen.
Oh yeah, especially defensively, it was.
Yeah, even as a whole, you can throw it as a whole, because I loved the shots that he was throwing as well. His shot selection was fantastic. But Brad Pauls needs to take a lot of credits as well, man. Like I say, he was a defending champion. He was just up against just a guy that was I wouldn't say was massively massive, better. He was just up against a guy that was so switched on Saturday night. But for me, Denzel Bentley, that was the complete performance for me. I loved it. You know, like, You spoke a lot about Denzel Bentley. I actually thought Pauls might win this. I said that, but you see, after this performance, I thought it was a great performance. That was the best I've seen him so far, and we'll talk about what's going to happen next. I've got my little theory. I'm sure you'll be the same, but like you said there, even round 10 when he dropped Brad Pauls. And like I say, and he went for it as well. Bentley went for it, tried to get the stoppage. And fair play to Pauls, held on, and then was throwing back like fuck as well.
I think it was his eye, Dave. I don't think he was physically hurt. You know, as in he was buzzed when I think it was his eye. Like the glove hit the eye. We spoke about the orbital bone, but I think it actually hit the eyeball, and he was struggling with the eye rather than being, beaten up and bruised and hurt.
No, he took a knee, didn't he?
Yeah.
Took a knee, took the 8 count. But then Bentley put the foot on the gas, tried to get the stoppage. But you know what? Pauls is a brave man. Like he stuck in there, and he was throwing back. Like fighting to the end. I loved that. It was a great fight. That was a great fight for both lads. Both of them have come out with credit in that. They really, really have. I loved it. And now, Denzel Bentley now for me goes on. And do you want to go and speak about what's to have next? Or you got your theory first? What do you want to do?
We can do. I was just going to say how far Denzel Bentley's come in his career.
Yeah.
Do you remember he was beaten up and stopped by Felix Cash? And Felix Cash, the guy, was supposed to be the next guy after, obviously, Chris Eubank Jr. We haven't had really too many middleweights. I know Billy Joe Saunders been down there and stepped up, and George Groves and whatnot. But Felix Cash was supposed to be the next guy. So where Denzel Bentley is now, he's rebuilt. He had that off night against Nathan Heaney, and he's come back with 2 lovely knockouts. He's had a good rebuilding career, and it obviously looks like he's going to get a world title shot. But you look at where Felix Cash is now, man.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be that guy. He was supposed to be the guy to win the titles, you know, and step up and, you know, and be one of our best middleweights in the UK. But fair play to Denzel Bentley, mate. You know, it's weird because Nathan Heaney was there at ringside as well. And you've got a weird Nathan Heaney beat Denzel Bentley. Bentley beat Brad Pauls, but Brad Pauls beat Nathan Heaney. So how the fuck does that work? But yes, you're desperate to talk about what's next for Denzel Bentley. Brad Pauls will be back. He will win that British title. I can guarantee you that. Denzel vacates, which is going to have to. But you're on about next for Denzel, mate. What's your theory? Go on.
Well, not only so next, what I think should happen is we got Hamza Shiraz fighting in February. I think that he's up there. Both of them are under Uncle Frank's banner. I think that the next thing to be made will be Hamza Shiraz versus Denzel Bentley.
Do you?
I think so. I think that will happen.
Okay. Oh, I didn't see that coming.
I think Hamza Shiraz. Well, let's presume Hamza Shiraz wins the world title, which I think he will. I think then Frank's lining up to make Bentley versus Shiraz as Shiraz's first defense, and Uncle Turkey watching Brad Pauls versus Denzel Bentley. There'd be no reason why they won't want to put Denzel Bentley on an Uncle Turkey card based on that performance, because it was a great performance for me.
I didn't see. I thought he was going the other way. So with Denzel Bentley winning on the weekend, I think there was another silly bullshit belt involved. But by winning that, takes him to become ranked number 1 with the WBO.
Mm-hmm.
And WBO world champion is Yanibek Alimhanala.
Yeah.
And the connection with Uncle Frank, Uncle Turkey, and the WBO are quite close. Yeah. So they were talking on the television and on the radio about he's now mandatory for Yanibek. So he might, or it looks like he could get his chance against Yanibek for the second time.
Yeah.
To go for that belt. Then, if he was to come through Yanibek, which I'm a massive Denzel Bentley fan, I don't think he does, then we get the unification between Hamza Shiraz and Denzel Bentley. But you might be right, because Uncle Turkey tweeted to Yanibek in the week, "You're next." So what plans he's got for Yanibek, I'm not too sure. But it could be it could be Denzel Bentley, or it could be Erislandy Lara. Either way, Yanibek needs to keep active. He needs to fight. And I can see either way, but I thought he was going to go the Yanibek.
No, the only reason I think that they're going to line up Bentley versus Shiraz purely for Uncle Frank. Frank, he's got both of them. If Bentley goes from Yanibek, which is a tough ask. Yes, he gave Yanibek probably his hardest fight. Gave him hell the last time.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's got that extra step to go and beat Yanibek.
Well, he won't start slow this time, will he? He can't.
No, but like I say, if he goes there and loses to Yanibek, then the Hamza Shiraz fight's gone. So I think that's the way that Uncle Frank's going to steer that one. Let Shiraz get through that, and then have his first voluntary against Denzel Bentley. That's the way I think. That's why I think, and that'll be a great fight. So yeah, that's why I think it's going to go, mate.
Now that Bentley's rebuilt and he's on form and he's actually boxing better and he's knocking dudes out, it's a great fight. Great domestic fights, mate. And it'd be for world title as well.
Exactly.
Hopefully, fingers crossed that Hamza Shiraz comes through and takes care of Carlos Adames. So yeah, exciting times ahead in 160 for a change, especially in the UK. Just to talk about a few other fights on this fantastic card. Sam Noakes, Dave, British and Commonwealth titles on the line. Defended them, went in there and done exactly what I expected Sam Noakes to do. Ryan Walsh is one tough motherfucker. He took some punishment. I didn't give him one round. Sam Noakes went in there, blast him out. Couldn't. But we need, if you're not going to make the Mark Chamberlain or Josh Padley fight on a domestic level, he needs world-level fighters now, Dave. He needs tests now, Sam Noakes. He's 16-0 with 14 KOs. To me, he's too good for domestic. Unless Mark Chamberlain sort of gets that win over Padley, and now he becomes the guy down at lightweight in the UK. That's a great fight. Again, you spoke about putting Shiraz and Bentley together for Queensberry stable. Let's do Chamberlain against Noakes. But if that isn't to be made, Sam Noakes is ranked quite high on one of the governing bodies.
Yeah.
He needs better competition now. Yes, he couldn't get rid of Ryan Walsh, but he beat him up, he battered him, he bruised him. It's chalk and cheese. I'm a big fan of Sam Noakes, and I want him tested now.
Well, I don't know whether you've seen it during the card. Uncle Turkey posted out the fight poster, the updated fight poster. Now it is part of David.
It's isn't it? There's no clarity who's fighting who yet, is there really?
No, but like I say, there's in David McDonald's news. This is a part of it. There's been a change to one of the fights, but on that fight poster, Sam Noakes is on it, and he was and Uncle Turkey put it out whilst he was actually fighting, or whilst the card was going on the Usyk Fury undercard.
Yeah,
but I don't know. He's just
confirmation again, though, is there?
Yeah, but it's 2 weeks away. I mean, and he's just been in a 12-round. Yes, he dominated the fight, but he's still done 12 rounds to go into straight into that type of fight. I don't know, but
yeah, you're referring to Dennis Berenchik, aren't you?
Yes, yeah. So he's on that poster. But we'll see. We'll see. So you're talking about wanting him to step up now. If it's not Mark Chamberlain, if that does happen, it's definitely a step up that we asked for. But 3 weeks or 2 weeks notice is after he's just been in a 12-rounder. It's a bit of a strange one.
Yeah, like I said, there's been no confirmation. There's been a couple of fights that have been on that card and came off. There's been a few posters. So yeah, either way, mate, whether it's next in a few months' time, I still want him stepped up now because
absolutely,
he shouldn't have been in there with him really. It was a good 12-round spar for him. He just beat him up. And Ryan, fair play to you. You've got a fucking chin in your son. I'll give you that.
Yeah, he's a tough lad. Yeah.
Talking of chins, mate. Fucking hell, David Adeleye and Lawrence Okoli. David Adeleye winning the English title. I said British last week. Excuse me. Against Solomon Dakers in the first round. And Lawrence Okoli looks like he's ready for heavyweight just by the way he looks. Don't get me wrong. People are waxing lyrical about him because he's number 5 in the fucking rankings, which I think's wrong based on him being a Bridgerweight champion, which means he might get the fight with the winner of Caballel and Zhang, which again is wrong. That's a backward step for them. However, we'll speak about that another day. What did you make of Lawrence Okoli and David Adeleye? 2 great knockouts, man. 2 powerhouses and made statements on that Queensberry show.
They did. Adeleye absolutely smashed Dakers. When I first saw the punch, it was almost like it grazed the top of his head, but he was definitely gone. His legs were gone from him. It was a jig. So I had to look at it a couple of times and thought, did he catch it? Because people were going, he hit him on the shoulder, but he didn't. He definitely clipped him. He clipped the top of his forehead. Legs gone. Dakers was completely wiped out. Massive statement. Adeleye now can build on that after being beaten by Fabio Wardley. So you're only one good win away from being back in the mix. So let's see where he goes next. And then Lawrence Okoli, people were putting out pictures of him on the scales. Looked like he had a bit of a belly on him. I actually tweeted out that he's not a natural heavyweight. It's like manufactured weight. That he's having to put on to bulk up. But
he looked massive, didn't he?
He looks, and it's not the weight doesn't seem to be in the right area. We can all put a belly on to gain weight. That was my only issue leading up to the fight. Yeah. But the way he stepped back and then triggered the right hand to knock the guy out on the way in was beautiful. I've got to give credit where it's due. It was a fantastic shot. The guy didn't see it coming because he was throwing. It was just a little pivot back, little step back, give himself a little bit of room and bang. And it was a beautiful knockout. Credit where credit's due. Everyone knows Okoli's I'm not his biggest fan, but credit where it's due. That was a fantastic finisher. Loved the movement there. And it seems to be that we're working with Shane McGuigan seems to be decent.
It's with Joe Gallagher now. It's with Joe Gallagher now. Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Offensive now, isn't he, under Joe Gallagher, which is good to see. But I don't take much out of that opponent. It's just a dip your toe in, got a knockout, highlight reel moment. Again, it's got to be Huey Fury next.
Yeah.
Got to be Huey Fury next. It's going to come. And with joking aside, David Adeleye, he needed that. He needed that statement because if he lost the Dakers, where does he go? If you can't win an English title and he's supposed to be this guy that's supposed to be going up to fringe world level, you're not winning English titles, dude. So I'm pleased for Adeleye that he got in there and done what he done in a round, Dave.
Yeah, it's good. They both made statement wins there. Both statement wins.
Royston Barney-Smith, just quickly, he moves to 13-0. He looks like a real talent, stopping his opponent. And Pierce O'Leary, I've got to give a shout out to this guy. Watch out for Pierce O'Leary. We didn't speak about it. It's the first time I watched him properly on Saturday night. He's in the super lightweight division as well. He's 16-0 with 9 knockouts. He can box. He can punch. He's got power. He's nicknamed Big Bang. He's a dangerous motherfucker, Dave. He's one to watch. When one catches my lazy eye, mate, I know they mean business. Dalton Smith and Adam Azim. Big fan of Adam Azim. I like Dalton as well, but you better watch out because this guy looks a real talent, Dave. Pierce O'Leary, the Irish kid.
Yeah, I see bits and pieces on him. Yeah, looks very good prospect. Yeah, it's another name to add into an already brilliant mix. So yeah,
domestic division as well, isn't it?
Over
in the UK. So yeah. Should we talk about some proper boxing now, eh? Mate, I've got here, ladies and gentlemen, Pulev to become undisputed in 2025. You all know, whether you're an audio listener or watching on YouTube, I'm talking about the big WBA heavyweight fight that happened over in Sofia, Bulgaria on Saturday night between Germany's 40-year-old world champion, Manuel Charr, against the Cobra himself, the homeboy, Kubrat Pulev. Mate, full arena, great atmosphere. Undercard was decent. I watched it on the Zone. I was flicking back between the Zone and TNT. So the main event had to deliver. And you know what? I think it did. I was quite surprised. I have seen a lot worse than Pulev and Charr. Don't get me wrong. They're both equal age of 83 together. But they were both in and they both looked old, but they both tried. Charr was having success to the body. He won about 2 or 3 rounds. Pulev, the fresher Pulev at 43, those couple of fights, start to do what a boxer with the basics of fundamental does. The 1-2, use the jab, counter. It was a good fight, Dave. I've got to say, all the piss taken we've done, but that's been more about the belt itself. I enjoyed it. I've got to admit, and the crowd helped as well. The crowd helped because it was full house. They've all paid their money to come and watch their local hero and Pulev, and he got the job done, Dave. He got the job done.
It was. I'm with you. I've written down it was better than I thought it'd be. I've seen a lot worse, high-profile heavyweight fights than that, and I was expecting it to be a lot slower. I've got to admit, it wasn't one of these one-pace sort of like slogger. It was centre of the ring, and it was the basics. It was the Pulev 1-2 that was more or less all that he threw all night, but it was success for him. 2 big lumps centre of the ring. It wasn't bad. It was, I didn't fancy it leading up to it. I did watch it, and there was nothing sparkling. But I've seen a lot worse fights. I really have. I know what it does now. I don't know.
That's the joke part of it, isn't it? That's the joke part. That's what Kubrat Pulev has fallen short. He's challenged Anthony Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko in the past to become a legit world champion. And so it's a bit of a homecoming that he's got a belt that they or he can recognise as a world heavyweight championship belt. We know it's the regular belt. We know it means absolutely fuck all, but it can lead you into a mandatory shot if it's pushed in the right way. We've obviously the title holder at the moment in Alexander Usyk. It's not going to happen. But with Manuel Charr, mate, didn't realise until the comments were saying the guy's had 2 hip replacements in that time he's been inactive, so that obviously takes a massive toll when you're fighting world championship boxing for 12 rounds at the age of 40, and he's been shot at twice in that time. So he's a bit of a bad boy anyway, Manuel Charr, and so is Pulev. Pulev's had his misdemeanors outside the ring with court cases and doing a bit of naughty things to female presenters and things like that. So they're both characters. They're both old. They both put on a show for the fans, and it was interesting because did you notice when Manuel Charr hit Kubrat Pulev right after the bell in the 12th round, the Bulgarians started throwing bottles in the ring. So they were very pro Pulev, as you expect them to be. But we could go on laughing and joking about this, but what in reality, what do we do with this belt now? What do we do with the regular belt? Do we just let Pulev fight who he wants? Do we let him go down a Chisora route, or do we let somebody like a Johnny Fisher or Moses Atuma or a Richard Torres Jr. get their hands on that belt and kind of use that to navigate their way to a mandatory shot? Because even though it's a shit belt and it's used as a real world championship belt, it can be beneficial, just like it did for Daniel Dubois. When Daniel Dubois beat Trevor Bryan, it led into the Usyk fight. So there is positives out of it, but Pulev holding it, where do we go with Pulev holding that belt, mate? And try and keep it close.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. Like I say, the only way it gets retired is if the regular fights super champion.
Yeah.
But God, do we have to see Usyk versus Pulev? Or I mean, people ain't going to have that. So I really, really don't know. It's a difficult one. It's a shambles, is what it is, really. But yes, for someone young, I'm sure Pulev, if it came up, it's a massive money fight. Yes, he would do it. But he's not going to beat any of the current champions at this stage. Is it a springboard for someone young? It possibly. I mean, you've got to take what you can get in this world, and you know you had it right there. Done Daniel Dubois no fucking harm. Look at him now. So yeah, you got to be looking. If I'm a Tuma, if I'm Bacoli, if I'm any one of these kind of guys, you know, that are just hanging around, struggling to get fights, but go for Pulev, Dylan White, anyone like that. You know what I mean? Go, yeah. Why not? Do we think it's right? No. But if you're in their position, would you? Yes.
Definitely.
You know, you've got to, you've got to take that gives you a lift.
There's options there.
Yeah, it does. It gives you any good options. Good options. But take the piss of it what you will. But there can be something that comes off the back of that.
And just to end this fight, mate, Manuel Charr, do you reckon we'll see him again? Now he's over his injuries, his hip replacements, and to be fair, he done. Don't get me wrong, the both of them were knackered at the end, but he done 12 rounds better than I expected him to. To say he's been out the ring for nearly 3 years, you know, he done okay.
He did do okay, yeah. He's in some fucking shape as well. I see the size of him, like the muscles.
Yeah, that's for another day.
I know. I know. I looked at that and I thought, fuck me, that's Ivan Drago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I did, and I'm not being liable on here. I just said he looks like him. Yeah. But I know I looked at that and I thought, what? Like you said, Dave, there's some injuries, yet he's in some shape. Like you look at Lawrence Okoli, he's got a gut like me and you.
Yeah.
So make of that what you will.
But to answer the question that's on the board there, ladies and gentlemen, on the screen, Pulev to become undisputed in 2025, Dave. I'll take that as a no from you, yeah?
Not on your fucking Nelly, mate.
So that was our review from the weekend. Some great fights there, some great action, some great knockouts. But who gets your performance of the week, mate?
Denzel Bentley.
Why do we go for the same ones? We've got the same mindset. I was going to go Navarrete. And just because of Denzel's changing his game and being more defensive than I've ever seen him, I think he owns it, man.
I think so. Like we said earlier on, it was his overall performance I thought was great, mate. I liked his offense and his defense. I think, like I say, it's very good. It's all well and good, the commentators and the co-coms and that talking about the shot selection, but they're not talking about the things that the things that make you great. And it's a great defense, mate. And he had that. Yes, Paul's tried. Yes, Paul's was throwing throughout, but he weren't landing, and that was all because of Denzel Bentley's defense, mate. Brilliant. 10 out of 10 performance for me.
Correct. So we now move on to a bit of a De La Hoya update, mate.
Yes, there's not much of an update, and I'll tell you for why. On his Twitter, he hasn't posted since his clapback Thursday. So he's either sitting with his lawyers thinking, fuck me, how am I going to get out of Eddie Hearn suing the shit out of me? So he hasn't posted anything since Thursday. So when we done this last episode, so there is no update. Oscar's not singing out anything for me to jump on the hook as of yet, because I think he went a little bit too far with his last clapback Thursday. So he's probably trying to navigate his way around that at the moment. So there is no update on it today, mate.
I heard a lot of people at the weekend saying exactly what we've just said there. Also, they think Uncle Turkey might have had something to do with it. As I say, behave yourself, calm down, have a few weeks off, and then come back. We're all here to work together. Either way sounds a bit right, because he just doesn't stop De La Hoya, and he has, and he, like you just said, there's nothing coming from him now. So
yeah, he's quiet the last few days.
Something's gone on, but yes, next week we'll have another De La Hoya update until that motherfucker follows Mr. Holland. But lastly, we move into David McDonald and his dongs.
And this David McDonald and the dongs. This is where I go dark, people.
He always says that, doesn't he?
I like to warn them. Right, not much news because we done it on Thursday.
Yeah.
But a nice bit of news here. Manny Pacquiao, Vinny Paz, and Michael Nunn have all been inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame as the class of 2025. 3 fantastic fighters: Manny Pacquiao, legend. Michael Nunn could whack a few, and Vinny Panziani. Well, I can't remember how to say shit with names. He's the one that had the car accident. I don't know if you've ever seen the film Bleed for this, Dave.
No, you know me with films, Dave.
Yeah, well, it's based on a true story, and he had like a neck brace thing on, and he was never to fight again. Well, he was literally training in secret with this thing on his back down in his basement. Anyway, the story goes on that he came back and won a world title, and he beat the fabulous Roberto Duran as well. So yeah, he was told he'd never to fight again, and he didn't believe the doctors. Anyway, he's been inducted to the 2025 Hall of Fame. Great fighter. Great fight. You know what I'm like with me.
On that alone, doesn't he? Without his boxing, he deserves to be inducted.
It's a fantastic story. Yeah. I mean, you know what I'm like when going back in the day with the old boxers. I like all the old stuff, as you know. I could go back in the archives. He was a great fighter. Told he would never fight again. He went to prove the doctors wrong, and he went on to have a fantastic career. So he's in the Hall of Fame, and fair play to all of them. Nice bit of news there. Speaking of not talking about PEDs and stuff like that.
For a change, yeah.
This one you might like. Nayo Inoue versus David Picasso is reportedly the front runner for Inoue's proposed Las Vegas fight in April. Inoue's first set to face Sam Goodman in December 24th on Christmas Eve. It's understood the long-term plan is Inoue versus Junto Nakatani in late 2025 in Japan. So Inoue, David Picasso in Vegas.
No.
No?
Are you feeling that? I'm feeling it because you're just waiting for him to detonate, but I'm not feeling the fight, mate.
No. Well, that's what they're trying to do in Vegas.
What? Where they pulled Picasso out from? Look,
I don't know where they pulled him from,
mate. Obviously, Inoue's fighting New Year's Eve, boxing Christmas Eve, against Sam Goodman, a mandatory you can't get out of.
Yeah,
that's probably a better level, but we weren't impressed with Goodman when we saw it. However, the guy who should be fighting next is fighting in Monaco this weekend, MJ Akhmadaliev. Let's see what he delivers on Saturday night. That's the fight to make. And then when we do the Nakatani fight in Japan at the Tokyo Stadium, that's a rubbish fight. I don't like that fight. I've got to be totally honest. I don't. Do you like? Can you get up for that?
No, I don't know where it is.
We can always get up for Inoue, but there's better opposition out there for him. Someone is going to test him. I don't think Picasso's done enough in his career to warrant being to test Nayo Inoue. Nayo Inoue is elite. He's a fucking monster. You need elite guys or world class guys to go in there and give him a bit of jeopardy. Yeah. Come on, not for me, Dave. I
don't know where they've dug him up from, because there's been plenty of names.
Yeah,
that have mentioned around Inoue for all year, and I've put all rumours out all for David McDonald's all year, and David Picasso's never been one of them. I don't know where they've got him from, but you know what usually happens when we poo it, like not so much Inoue, because Inoue does, but you know when you go, oh fucking hell, where he gives them a better fight out of everyone. Let's hope so anyway.
Yeah. But I'd rather it was MJ. I've got to be honest. I'm sticking to my guns on that one.
I'm with you. I'd rather it be MJ, mate, 100%. But yeah, let's see what happens. It's only reported at the moment. Right. So this is another decent enough bit of news. Bob Arum has revealed that Top Rank are set to have a meeting with DAZN amid rumours that the broadcast deal with ESPN will not be renewed next year. They've asked for a meeting with us. We don't want to be exclusive to anyone. We're going to have different packages for different networks and different streaming platforms. DAZN are doing a great job in boxing, and the people who run DAZN are friends of ours. I think it's possible. So another broadcaster on DAZN.
Said all it.
Falling into place.
They will all be on DAZN. DAZN is becoming the home of boxing. That'll only leave Ben Shalom and Boxer to come over. And obviously, I think the one that won't play ball will be Al Heyman and PBC. But when their Amazon Prime deal runs out and DAZN are offering free money, why not? And that, to me, that's how it should be. If they can all work to a schedule, Dave, where they're not all those shows are on different weekends, so they don't clash with each other. That's wankable. That's what we want. We want all of those top broadcasters, promoters, their companies to be putting on great fights weekend after weekend after weekend, all on the same platform. You don't have to look for different silly streams. You don't have to buy ESPN, TNT, Sky Sports, DAZN, Sky. You don't have to buy any of them separate. You've got it all at one place. Turkey's behind this. Turkey is behind this, and this is what he wants. He wants everything under one umbrella like the UFC, and it's looked like it's into place. ESPN, that statement he made, that they don't want to be under contract to one person. That's bollocks. They will be.
Yeah.
Here first on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, December the 9th, ESPN will finish their contract with Top Rank. Top Rank this time next year will be on the Zone, exclusively to the Zone, and we'll get all of their top fights. We'll see your Richard Torres Juniors on the Zone, your Jared Andersons on the Zone, Emanuel Navarrete's on the Zone. You heard it here first. I don't know what you think, but I think that's Uncle Turkey's pulling the strings, mate.
And the way Dave Graham's talking here, Dave Graham on the Zone.
That'd be great, wouldn't it? Me and you on the Zone.
Oh, my God.
I think there's a bit of a queue at the moment, but we just keep plugging away. We might get there one day, mate.
You've only got to say one thing that makes you viral, mate, and hopefully it'll come from my gob and we're there. I've said some stupid things in the past, so why not?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
We'll be on there. You only got to say something out, that gets the juices flowing, mate, and you're off and running in this game.
I'll be up and say it then.
I'm definitely trying, mate. Right, last bit of news tonight, which we sort of touched on earlier on. Ismail Madrijov versus Sergei Boyachuk.
Boyachuk. Is it Boyachuk or Baranchek? It's Baranchek, isn't it? Baranchek.
Baranchek, sorry. Well, I was never getting that right. Has been cancelled as Madrijov is suffering from acute bronchitis. Funny that. Boyachuk will now face Ismail Davis on the Tyson Fury Usyk undercard on December 21st, while Madrimov will recover for his fight with Virgil Ortiz on the Beterbiev Bivol 2 undercard on February 22nd. It's fun. There was some chat there about, wow, how's he got two fights, on two cards? Then all of a sudden he's got bronchitis, ready for Virgil Ortiz. So it's a bit of a mad one. Ismail Davis is now jumped straight in again. He must be getting a nice pay packet again.
Mate, by the way, how has Ismail Davis got that fight? Good luck to him. Good luck to the guy, man. Go and, dare to be great. Challenge a world-level guy. Learn from it. Hopefully you go out there and win, make a statement. How comes Josh Kelly ain't got that fight?
Oh, no.
Do you know what I'm saying? He's the one that should be fighting Baranchek now. Boyachuk, sorry.
Yeah.
Baranchek, sorry. Yeah, I'm getting the bees mixed up. It should be kind of winner stays on. I know it doesn't always work like that, but how is Ismail Davis earning the shot at that opponent?
Oh no, I don't know. I don't know where it's come from. I have got to say though, the undercard, when you're looking at the card we just announced, or that was announced last week for February 22nd, and you're looking at the undercard for Fury Usyk 2. Yes, there's some great, good prospects on there with Moses Atuma and that. It's not the greatest undercards, I've got to admit.
No, it's not. No, it's not. But going back to Madrimov pulling out, I think you're right. I think that's always going to be the way. You can't have a war with a puncher like Boyachuk and then go straight into a war with another puncher 2 months after in Virgil Ortiz Jr. Whether you're fit enough to do it or not, that's a killer, that one. And remember, they've just come off a fight, a massive 12-round war between Boyachuk and Virgil Ortiz Jr. And Boyachuk put Virgil Ortiz Jr. down twice.
Yeah,
so that's he's got to be Superman, Madrimov. He probably realised it, come out and said he's got bronchitis, whatever it was. Just tell the truth. Tell the truth. It doesn't matter. No one cares. We just look forward to him with Virgil Ortiz Jr., which is a brilliant fight.
Yeah.
And Ismail Davis. Sonny Edwards is his manager, so Sonny's obviously got to take some credit for that, for getting him that fight. Good luck to him. But yeah, decent. But you are right. It's not the best of Uncle Turkey's undercards, but we're not there for that. Apart from Dennis McCann and Pete McGrail.
Yeah.
And Fury
that's
2.
A great fight. Yeah, that's a great fight.
Yeah. And Moses Atuma having a decent step up against Dempsey McKean.
Yeah.
Hopefully Dempsey McKean puts it on him and asks him questions, because he's just going through people like Dole's assaults. He needs to be tested as well, just like Richard Torres Jr. over in the States, mate. So yeah.
Yeah, listen, it's a decent enough card, but when you're comparing to some of the ones we've had this year, you do think, wow. But then that's what we expect from Turkey now. Everything else, there's, if it ain't superstar after superstar, everyone's got something to say. But
we're getting spoiled, aren't we? We're getting very spoiled.
Very spoiled. Fickle, because only a year or so ago, you don't get any type of cards like we're getting now. So spoiled is what we are. And that is it for David McDonald and the Dongs.
Never forget the Dongs, brother. So yeah, anything else to add, mate, before we say our goodbyes and fuck off?
No, mate. No, we're back Thursday to do our predictions for this upcoming week, mate. So no, all good.
Yeah, as Dave just said there, we'll be back Thursday. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head now. We've got the Monaco cards. We've got
Natasha Jonas in it.
Yes, you're right. And Lauren Price.
Yeah.
They're on there. Dylan White's back against Ebenezer Good, as you call him.
Ebenezer Good. Yeah.
On Sunday. Jaime Munguia, he's out as well. So we've got another bit of another busy weekend of boxing. I think Alexis Rosher's doing bits and pieces as well. Over on DAZN. So yeah, we'll bring you our previews on Thursday with our prediction league, which I'm quite happy about because I know I've had a really good weekend.
You have.
Yeah, I have. So I could be doing an Arsenal from 90. Was it 97, 98 when they pulled the lead back against Man United?
There's only 2 weeks left, but yeah, if you do, that'd be some fucking going.
It is, mate. And then the weekend, Monday after, we might be bringing you 3 shows, if my calculations are right. So on the Monday, we've got a special casual view of Usyk versus Fury for you. Me and Dave's very good mates from school, the Phoenix Five, as we call ourselves. We had a podcast, a 90s football-based podcast a couple of years ago. It's still out on Spotify and Apple, so go and have a nosy at that. They're jumping on the pod, so we'll have a bit of fun and games with them. They'll be giving their views on the first fight and how they see the second fight going. There's might be a few debates and shouting and screaming. We always have a bit of a laugh when we get together. And obviously me and Dave have got to review the Monaco show and things like that. So that'll possibly be on the Tuesday. And then we'll have to do our normal preview of that Fury Usyk undercard going into it. So we've got a few busy weekdays and weekends coming up, brother. So, yeah, looking forward to all that. So that's it, guys. That's the end of episode 87. Like, share, and subscribe via YouTube, as I said at the beginning. And do the same over Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, and wherever you get your content. So until Thursday, should I say, stay safe, brother, and all you masses out there. Have a good couple of days, and yeah, see you Thursday. Peace out, David boy. Speak soon.
Take care, me old mate.